Hey everybody, welcome to the Wind Down. This is our inaugural episode. This is the spot where you can get all your NBA action slash analysis. We'll break down all the night's action, preview the night ahead, and just get into it. We just want to get into it, bring you the sports, the basketball sports as we see it. Bring you all our synopsis from the night, the theories from the night, our MVP watch, most improved player watch, rookie of the year, sixth man of the year, defensive player of the year watch, just how the seeding is looking through the year. So this is your spot for getting all your NBA analysis. We'll bring you some interesting theories. I just want to bring it to you. I don't want to be sugarcoating it. I'll just call it the way I see it. No bias. Obviously, everybody has someone they're cheering for, but we'll just bring each team to you as much as we can. Who's performing, who's not. The expectations that we have for the season. Measuring those expectations come mid-season. So just the whole nine. So subscribe down below at Winedownsports. This is where you want to be each night. We'll just try to get into it and just bring you those videos. Now, I'm just a passionate person about sports, basketball in specific. I love it. I'm so glad that NBA season is almost back. In addition to just breaking down the sports, we're going to bring you a beer of the night. Obviously tonight we're going a little plain Jane, Coors Light, but nonetheless, take a little sip. Still delicious, but we're going to break it down. So this is your spot, everybody. If you just want to just get into the action, if you just want to discuss, leave your comments. I'll try to comment on some of those comments. Some of the ones that make sense. Obviously, if you're just calling me a ugly douchebag, then I can't argue that. But anyway, we'll get into it. Also, for Brooklyn Nets fans, this is where you want to be. We'll be following the Nets closely this year, in addition to just bringing you the nightly analysis. So here we go. So opening night tomorrow night. Here we go. We got two big games on the slate. As of I last checked, obviously Cleveland versus Boston. The big story right now is, will LeBron James play or not? No. LeBron James, man, if you don't play in this game, I might just slap you upside your head. But I really am feeling like there's a good chance he may not play, just because, it's LeBron. I think that, I was watching an interesting thing on Undisputed, Skip and Shannon, and they were Skip was talking about how LeBron's already kind of planting that excuse. I think, he knows Kyrie Irving is coming in. I know that he thinks that they know that this is going to be a highly watched game, just because of the narrative behind it. Kyrie Irving returning into Cleveland, obviously Isaiah Thomas on the other side. How is he going to interact with his teammates, being on the bench and, all that good stuff. Jay Crowder, not so much, but, it's just going to be an interesting game. It would be great to see everybody on the floor. I expect Boston to win this game, even if LeBron James plays. I just think Kyrie Irving, I think he's going to come out, he's going to get booed. I think he has the fortitude to just go in there. He has that mini Mamba mentality. I think the boos may actually get him going, even more. And I think, honestly, you can expect like a 30-point, 10 assists, 5-6 rebound game from Kyrie. I think this is the year Kyrie goes off, and actually making a little slight prediction. I have him as my favorite to win the MVP award. I just think how much he's going to elevate. Not having to just be scoring focused, having the ball in his hand more. He's going to get like 4 or 5 assists just off of driving and dishing, before, he wouldn't have been that type of guy. So, where he would just drive and dish, he would just drive and just always look for his shot. But I think this year, he's going to add that extra layer to his game. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that this game should be a fairly close game up to about like the third quarter with like 4 or 5 minutes left to go. I expect, Boston to go on a run then, because I just think the Cleveland Cavaliers, they have some interesting pieces, but a lot of them seem to be a little older in their years, Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, those type of guys, they're just a little up there, like their bench, like even like J.R. Smith, he's he's a good player. I mean, they're good players, but they just don't seem to, it's like somebody said, it's like the 2012 All-Star team. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy, but I mean, you still got LeBron James, man. He's the king. You can't deny that. I mean, he'll come out and he can average, 30, 10, and 10 if he wanted to each night. So, with him on the floor, it always gives you a chance. It'll be interesting to see Kevin Love playing that center position. I think in a game like this, it works because, Boston's center, for all intents and purposes, is Al Horford. So, it's not like he's a big bruiser or anything. Other interesting storylines is just to see the rookies, the rookie and then the sophomore, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. I expect those guys to ease into minutes. I like Tatum a lot. I think in a few years, 2-3 years, he'll be a solid number 2/3 player on that team, depending on, what happens to Kyrie in the long term, which I expect him to stay in Boston long term. I just think that Boston Celtics, they've made all the right moves. I mean, getting rid of Isaiah Thomas, it was a hard move. Obviously, everything he brought to that team last year. But you get everything Isaiah can do times 50 with Kyrie Irving. I mean, he's a champion. He's already won a championship. And, hey, a lot of people, he was a big part of that championship, He had the 40-point game to co-star with LeBron. He had the game winner in Game 7. Not Game 5, not Game 6, Game 7, in Golden State. He quieted that crowd. So you have a guy that's tested, that's proven, and the Boston Celtics know about this guy firsthand. I mean, last year in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, he pretty much one-handedly took Cleveland and catapulted them to that win. So I expect him to be, a top 5, top 10. Well, he's already a top 10 player in my opinion, but I expect him to kind of move into that discussion of top 5 this year because I think that that's the whole purpose of him wanting to get traded out. Overall, I just think both of these teams, they're going to be the number 1 seed and number 2 seed in the East. I think Boston will be number 1 seed again. Gordon Hayward, I mean, we haven't talked about him enough here. Just adding him, it's such a big deal as well. I mean, right now you just got a guy that can play off the ball. That in minutes when you just got to give Kyrie a rest. He's a solid number 2, but he can be probably a 1B. You can even call him because in Utah, he was the guy, and he did take them to the playoffs in what's a much tougher Western Conference. So I mean, and they won a series. So last year, I mean, they didn't lose in the first round. Obviously, they had a lot of talent on that team too. That Utah fans, just a little offset. I mean, hey, we're going to be touching on that market too. You guys got a pretty solid team out there, and I expect big things from you guys too, even with the loss of Gordon Hayward. But I mean, obviously Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, still a serviceable big. So overall, I think these are the number 1 and 2 seeds in the East. I don't think nothing has really changed from last year. I expect this to be the Eastern Conference Finals, and you know what? I'm going to pick Boston to win in 7, maybe even 6. I just feel like this is the year LeBron gets a little disengaged. Looking forward to free agency. These type of years for LeBron are always the year when he's gonna lose out on something. I just don't know if Dwayne Wade and those boys are enough to take him over the top of a stronger Boston team. So the second game on the slate, we got a good one. The Houston Rockets visiting the returning NBA champs and Western Conference champs, the Golden State Warriors, 16-1 in the playoffs last year. Just a well-oiled machine, Golden State. A 4-headed monster. 5-headed now with Swaggy Pete. If you want to call him that. I'm just joking. But no, I mean you got Steph, Durant, Clay, and Draymond, and then the rest of the gang. I mean that's a well-oiled machine. That if on any night if you can somehow find an answer for Steph Curry, you still have to ask yourself, do I have an answer for Kevin Durant? And from the NBA Finals, we now realize that there is nobody on this planet that has an answer for Kevin Durant, especially when he's playing in that offense. There's none. I mean, he can just shoot it from anywhere. He can get his buckets whenever and wherever he wants. I mean, and in that offense, it's just too many things to worry about. that, Houston, they've made a big jump getting Chris Paul, but still it's not big enough. I think that, Chris Paul will add some more leadership, and it would allow them to run and gun like they want to a little more. But the question you always have to ask yourself is, when you play Golden State, it's not necessarily about offense, it's just about defense. Can you make enough stops? Because, when it comes down to the third quarter, fourth, the beginning of the fourth, they're going to make that run. And you better be able to stop. You better be able to either stop that, or you better be able to keep up. I don't know if the Rockets have what it takes to keep up. They got some guys, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they have enough guys. Overall, I'm looking forward to this game just to see how the Golden State Warriors come out. I think the only thing that you could be a little concerned about is just like a championship hangover. These guys have been having a lot of fun this summer. Steph Curry with the cigars in his mouth all summer. Kevin Durant with all the Twitter mumbo jumbo and just, going in and whatever. Who's been remarkably quiet, actually? Draymond Green, to some lesser extent. Klay Thompson's been having the summer of a lifetime. He's still tan. He's black now. Believe that. I'm just joking. But, obviously that's to see them come along. You want to see some of the jump and see what jump some of the other players have made too. We know what Iguodala brings. He's actually questionable for the game, maybe even doubtful. You just got a lot of those young guys and whatnot that have a potential to come along. The draft pick that they got, Bell, and all those guys. So it's going to be really interesting to see them play. Just the Houston Rockets, James Harden, I don't think he could have done anything better. I don't think he can play any better. But I think where I would like to see James Harden take a jump is it'll be interesting to see with Chris Paul on his side now. Does he now take, with this whole Kevin McHale thing, questioning his leadership and whatnot, does he take this opportunity to not necessarily become a leader, but to rub off of what Chris Paul brings and bring that intensity? I think that's what the Houston Rockets in that series against the Spurs, where especially James Harden just flat out went missing. It was just like, what? What in the world happened? So it's just to see those moments not happen this year. We obviously know that they can win 56 to 65 games. In that range, they probably will. They'll probably be the number 2, 3, or 4 seed at worst. Barring any injuries. But, that's not really the concern with these guys. The concern is, can they now win the big game when it matters? Can they win some of these games? Like this game, although it's just an opening night game, this game would be a little bit of a testament to see where to see what mindset of Chris Paul brings to them. When a team goes on a little run on them, where's their mentality at? So they have guys, they obviously have James Harden, they obviously have Chris Paul, Capella, they have Trevor Ariza, a lot of guys, Eric Gordon, Decker, all these dudes, so, the team is constructed in such a way, that it has enough stars with enough guys, like you would call them, others, that can make a difference. Obviously, they're going to want to get out and run and gun, but even like, with James Harden, it's just, with Chris Paul there, it's just, can these guys get over that mental hump? So that's really the preview for tomorrow night's games. For anybody that they're playing fantasy, daily fantasy, tomorrow is they usually say don't play on a 2-night slate, but if you're gonna play, you obviously want to roster from one game, a lot of one team. I think. Obviously, you can't go wrong just rostering the whole Golden State starting 5, depending on what the price points are, if you can afford that. Some of the Houston guys, of course, because I think that's going to be a high-scoring affair. A lot of threes, a lot of assists, a lot of, just getting up and down, and just a lot of free play. Obviously, on the Eastern Conference side for the opener, obviously if LeBron's in play, if he's going to play, you can play him. Obviously Kyrie Irving is a big-time play. If LeBron doesn't play, or even if LeBron does play, Kevin Love, playing the center position. He's really the only big out there. The only real big out there rebounding. So, his rebounding numbers should be consistently 10, 11, 12 rebounds a game. He's already a great rebounder, but he, without playing the center position, playing the power forward position. So, I think now with him moving to center, he'll get a lot more rebounds. I think Kevin Love is going to have a bigger role, obviously, with Kyrie. I mean, there's going to be more shots there for him, which may result in a better year for Kevin Love as well. Sometimes he could get really disengaged. The ball's not coming his way. So I'm looking forward to seeing how his season plays out. So there you have it. Tomorrow's going to be an exciting night. I know we're all ready. It's like Christmas again. Everybody is just waiting for that tip-off to happen. It's going to be amazing just to see basketball back in a competitive standpoint. I mean, the preseason was good. The off-season was good. All the moves that were made, all the draft picks, a lot of excitement around this year's draft picks, just all the free agent wheeling and dealing, and then leading up into this year when we get into this year's free agency. It's going to be crazy. So, just a lot of storylines to watch. We're going to keep getting into it and just doing what we do. So, all you basketball fans, just subscribe below. Look out for us on Twitter. We're going to be at Winedownsports. So, we'll be getting this thing started. Just all the love is appreciated. I know this is the first episode or first video. So, we've got a lot more coming. We're just going to keep posting them. Thanks for all the love. You guys take care.